Join us for the final program of the 5th Annual Hartford History Series, a program of the Hartford Heritage Project at Capital Community College. One of the things that distinguishes Hartford is its Puritan religious origins. These were people of the book, a place where reading, literacy, and freedom were hardwired. In 1838, Hartford's population was about 10,000. It was said at the time that he who wishes to be in good standing with the men of business in this community feel it is important to maintain a fair and honorable character for truth and integrity. Hartford was a place with less gambling, profane swearing, and Sabbath breaking, and where, quote, a larger proportion attend public worship than any other city of the land. Hartford's religiosity touched everything from education to the reading habits of its residents. Hartford became a leading center of moral and religious book publishing, books that reached readers nationwide. The library and archives at Center Church, the first church whose pastor Thomas Hooker and congregation were the first settlers of Hartford, was the first purpose-built church library in Connecticut, a rich repository of social and religious history. In addition to thousands of books amassed over the course of centuries, they also have the personal library of its most famous 19th century preacher, Reverend Joel Hawes, a nationally influential clergyman of the Second Great Awakening, a movement spawned in Connecticut that coincides with Hartford's greatest influence in national religious life. Treasures include the subscription list for building their 1808 brick meeting house, a who's who of participants in the congregation and leadership in the city. Books like this biography of George Whitefield, who visited America 7 times, Whitefield and the renowned Connecticut native Reverend Jonathan Edwards were leaders of the Great Awakening, which emphasized freedom of will and a more personal, confessional, and intentional and heartfelt relationship to God. The Great Awakening made religion intensely personal by fostering a deep sense of spiritual conviction of personal sin and a need for redemption, and a commitment to a new standard of personal morality. This book is a collection of sermons and writings by the Reverend John Newton, who had been a captain of slave ships until he experienced a conversion to Christianity, renounced his trade, became a prominent abolitionist, and was ordained minister in the Church of England. He wrote hymns, including one of our most beloved and famous, Amazing Grace. Isaac Watts was 18th century's most prolific and popular hymn writer. Among his compositions was Joy to the World. John Trumbull wrote one of the great poems of the American Revolution called Mafingal in 1782, a satirical poem on the events of 1775 and the stupidity of the British and colonial affairs, one of the most reprinted poems of the late 18th century. Evangelical magazine published in Hartford had national influence. The Hartford selection of hymns, a collaboration between Joseph Stewart, Nathan Strong, and Abel Flint, all ministers. The Missionary Society of Connecticut was founded in 1798 and embarked on foreign and domestic missions. One of the most famous being Henry Obadiah, who attended the Foreign Mission School in Cornwall. The school became quite famous. Henry requested training to spread the gospel back home in Hawaii, made progress towards completing a grammar, a dictionary, and a spelling book in his native tongue. His memoir was edited by Yale President Timothy Dwight in the year of his death. The Theological Institute of Connecticut, later known as the Hartford Seminary, had hundreds of locally published sermons, among many things an early and important source for women's history. All that and more. Hartford is rich in history with many known and little-known treasure troves. This is a rare opportunity to get a close look at an extraordinary treasure. Join us this Saturday at 10 a.m.